Hey, my friends, thank you so much for being here. I am getting ready to go on vacation. I'm very excited. And I pulled some cards for the collective for the week ahead, and I went to just make a reel about it. And I was like, no, this should also be a reading. So, this is the vibe for our upcoming weekend. And I do think it's going to last longer than the weekend, though. So, we're approaching eclipse season. So, there's a new moon eclipse happening on April, I think it's the 20th or 21st, depending on where you are. And eclipses are these like, I like to think about them as like a Bart Simpson slingshot that like hurdles us towards transformation. So it can be like pretty uncomfortable, but there's a tremendous amount of growth that can happen in a short period of time if we really just like embrace the discomfort and like examine what's coming up for us. So, this reading, I think I've got a pretty interesting idea about what's going to be coming up for a lot of us. So, and again, this is this weekend, but I do feel like it's going to be lasting longer than the weekend. So, the biggest themes I'm getting is we're really moving from this perpetual energy of like not enoughness into a place of true abundance and sufficiency and community. We're really being slingshotted from the little me, which is where we're kind of stuck in like just me, really slingshotted into like a bigger picture, the big we kind of vibe. So, how is that coming up in the cards? So, we have the Five of Pentacles. For my fellow tarot reader friends, you know this card. No one looks forward to it. This card. It's like the little match girl. Like it's sad. You feel like you're like outside. Like there's all these other people with warmth and love and plenty, and you're just like sad and you have matches. It's this card of feeling like alone. It's this card of being worried about money, of like not having enough. Obviously, it can come up when there are real struggles, of course. But remember that tarot is like the book of life, and there's wisdom in every single card. So this card is interesting because I have seen this card come up for people with plenty of material resources. Okay. And yet here it is. So I find the Five of Pentacles shows up when we have an inner wound that believes we're not enough. And then we turn to the outside world to try and become enough. So I'm not enough. Okay. So in order to like be enough, I'm going to get the right partner. Okay. Now we have to get the nicest house. Okay. Now I have to get that promotion because then I prove I'm enough. I'll get the best grades. You know what I mean? It's all these like outer things to try and prove we're enough. But really like the outer things, they'll just grow, right? Like when you get that house, that's so great. Oh, well, this couple has a nicer house. And then you're back into the state of not enoughness. So the Five of Pentacles to me brings us an opportunity to be like, what is this core wound, this core belief that says I'm not enough? Excuse me. I'm in the prairies. It's dry here. I have to stay hydrated. And I find this card is also very much like spiritual poverty. So this card rolls up when we're too in the material. We're too focused on like looks, or we're too focused on things, or we're too focused on titles. And we're really invited through this eclipse season to slingshot away from the little me. I don't have enough. I'm not enough. I need all these other things to be and feel enough. We're really being slingshotted into this place of sufficiency because the other card that came up is the Ten of Pentacles. Very different from the Five of Pentacles. In fact, like they're on two like sides of the polarity, right? This is the side of like not enough, never enough, loneliness. This is this energy of plenty, sharing, community, generosity. So the Ten of Pentacles, I think about this card too, also about legacy. So it's where you have enough. You have enough, right? Your need, and of course, not having enough is like deeply, deeply stressful. So in no capacity do I mean to undermine at all the experiences of the Five of Pentacles. It's just that like the deeper healing invited in that card is that inner wound that says I'm not enough. Because that will impact all of our choices subconsciously, right? It'll impact what we go for, what we don't go for, what we sabotage, right? So it's very worthy to explore that, the deeper boo-boo. And the Ten of Pentacles, we can see like even the imagery is like very different. I'm trying to get some good light without being reflective. So we have like a family of cats, Christmas tree, right? You've gone from being on the outside of the light and abundance to a part of it. So, and the Ten of Pentacles it's like I said, stability and abundance, sufficiency. It's also about legacy. What are you leaving behind? It doesn't mean necessarily just when you die, but like what work and energy, what are you putting out into the world that's gonna leave the world a slightly better place? No one can fix it all, right? And when we put all this pressure on ourselves to do that, we just ain't gonna fix anything. We all have our little piece of the pie that we can uplift, right? And so I always see this card as like not only having enough, but what are we leaving behind? Maybe you're like a writer and you leave behind beautiful work that's going to like uplift and inspire people for generations to come. Maybe you have children and you raise them to be very loving and they become these little forces of light out into the world, right? Whatever it is, maybe you build like a really cool company and it's very ethical and provides wonderful jobs and you can like sell it and pass it on to the next person who's jacked about it, who's going to build it up into something great. You get the gist, right? It can be small, just like I leave behind a legacy of love because I infuse everything I do with love. And now I've left all these little pockets of love, these little uplifting vibes of love all over the place. Or it can be like bigger scale, right? So it's really, and you can also see how in the Five of Pentacles, we get very stuck being like, I don't have enough. I am not good enough, right? That little me. And really, if we're stuck in the ego little me, it won't ever be enough because we're meant to also connect to our true selves, our higher selves, our spiritual selves. So I really get the sense that we are being slingshotted from little me to big we, to I'll never have enough, to, oh, I have plenty. And now I share. And with that comes a lot of like sufficiency. I really like Deepak Chopra, what he says about abundance, which is that it's sufficiency and fulfillment. So it's like you not only have enough, but materially, because you just have to, there's just no pussyfooting around that. But you also have like fulfillment in what you're doing. So purpose, right? So it's not just stuffed with stuff and then empty inside. It's just like in a state of plenty and then sharing it. You know, like wealth isn't just what you have, it's who you have to share it with. And that's really, I think, what's going to be coming up. And how can we do that? So we also get the Nine of Cups, which is that wish card in the tarot, right? And the Nine of Cups is where you're very grateful for all you have. Life is good and you're enjoying it. You are feeling emotionally fulfilled, right? Like cups are the emotions, the relationships, the intuition. So I always see the Nine of Cups as like letting yourself enjoy what you have instead of being like more. Just taking a step back and being like, yeah, you know, I got enough. This is great. I'm really enjoying what I have too. The other part with the Nine of Cups is that you wish authentically. So, you know, that expression, be careful what you wish for. I actually don't think it's about wishing, like being like, oh, I better just wish for like teeny tiny, because, you know, the risk then is that you don't wish authentically. You wish for something small that you think is safe and you get it and you're still dissatisfied. Or you're wishing from a place of fear as opposed to a place of love and possibility and potential and will and all these great energies. So when you're, you know, and just be, you know, lots of grace with yourself, just notice like, wow, I do kind of just think about me all the time. You know what I mean? Or like, oh, I am always in the lack space. Well, I do have a lot. Wow. So just like honor, grace. No one's perfect. Ignore anyone who says they are. We're human. We're going to go through these times. And then really just be like, well, what would I like to leave behind? What would I really like to experience? What's this like beautiful gift? What can my like legacy be that I'm working towards? And it takes time, right? Greatness takes time. What is that? What's going to give me fulfillment and sufficiency? What fills me up and therefore fills the collective up? And so wish for that, right? So the Nine of Cups is like, well, what does that look like to you? Is it like creating some sort of super cool like commune? That's like cool, not weird. You know, everyone's growing their own food and trading things or something. Is it starting some sort of like ethical clothing line? Do you and your partner maybe like need to spend more time outdoors and like raise your children to do that, right? So what is it? Just be authentic with your wish and let it really fill you up with love. And that's really going to help move the needle in the direction of from what you don't have to what you wish to build. And that's going to like fill you up. Okay, so that's this weekend vibe. So notice where we're feeling like not enoughness. Just be the observer, which is where you don't judge yourself. You're just like, oh, there it is. There it is. I'm still in a lack place. And then think like, ooh, what do I really love to share? And when if you really love doing it, just remember that it is going to have some kind of cool uplifting effect on the collective. Because if it's a labor of love, it'll have an uplifting effect. So like I'm so grateful to like the authors I love. I'm like, oh, I'm so glad that they followed their passion and stuck to it and got those books out in the world, because now there's these books that I've loved to read for the last like nearly 20 years, right? Like I remember reading Neil Gaiman in my early 20s and I still love Neil Gaiman. So like I'm really grateful he followed his path. He totally made my world a more, lighter place and gave me wisdom and creativity to think on. So don't underestimate what you love to do and how it could uplift someone, right? And we also don't need to be like, I need to help everyone, because that's impossible. Even if one person was uplifted by what you did, life well lived. Okay? So, take lots of loving care of yourself, dream big, dream bravely, patience. Best of luck through eclipse season, and thank you very much for being here. Take care.